Hello. Today you'll be hearing from me, Kanji Michelle, our presentation about speaking and hearing when acting. All information from today's presentation was from an article by John A. Archibald on the frontiers of young minds. So, the main idea of this presentation is accents are caused by grammar and mispronunciation. The article states accents are results of grammars, and they affect the way we hear a language, not just the way we speak a language. Now, even though the article defined a lot of big words and unknown words, for my presentation today, you must know these two important words. Discrimination. First one, a discrimination test. It is the ability to tell two things apart. Also, to tell two sounds, usually words, are different. Now, the second important word is perception accuracy. It is the ability to hear sound distinctions. Now, onto my four key points. Remember, these are four very important points. Now, the first one, mispronounce second language sounds by just a few millimeters or milliseconds will result in recognizable accent. Recognizable accent. Wow, I butchered that so badly. Okay. Now, this has to do with mouth/tongue placement. Let's talk about the tongue. When you say a word like dog, a very simple word. When you say dog, you start off with your tongue hitting the roof of your mouth. And then it stays around the middle as you finish the word. Dog. Dog. You hear that? Now, I want you to try now. I almost say dog, but instead of starting with the roof of my mouth, I'll put it to the very bottom. Dog. You hear that difference? Now you might say, hey, there's no difference. But then again, isn't an accent there's a small difference? Now, mouth placement is more about like when you say bide, say about spelling your mouth. Bide. I say, hey, there's no real difference. Okay, you might say so. But then again, accents is a small difference. And also, when I mean milliseconds, I mean how long you state off a word. Like how long you expand on a certain syllable. Everybody's different, and this is caused by our grammars, how we're raised, or our original language, and why it come out accent. Now, my second key point is in a discrimination test, a listener who can receive the difference of similar words are more likely to get better grade than one who can't. Now, this might seem not important, kind of useless, like, okay, whatever. But it's tied into my next 2 points, which is very important. A low perception accuracy are equal to means a trouble pronouncing consonant clusters, such as stop and snow. Consonant clusters are like ST, SN, TH, all those type of consonant clusters. Now, a low perception accuracy, you might not be able to hear the difference of stop and snow. And so when they stop and snow, to you it might seem okay, it's normal. But to someone else listening to you, like, hey, wait, hey, this is stop, or they tell me it's snowing. Like, what? Like, they don't make sense to them. The next point is one of the most important points, second more important than the first one, but low precision accuracy. So now, the lower precision accuracy you have is a more increased chance to have an accent. Because I say stop and snow example, if you say stop or snow, like they won't be able to tell the difference. Certain situations they'll be able to tell the difference, but like you come out of the accent, you're like, okay, it obviously come out of the accent, and you might say, hey, what's the importance? Now, the average person, really, they should not care. This particle is more or less a fun fact. It's just entertaining, that, hey, that's pretty cool, I guess. Just some fun facts. Now, this is true to everybody except people who are learning how to speak better. Like, and I'll tie it into my next topic, part 2. Now, this really benefits people with accents. This is more or less a stepping stone on how they can improve on their accents. They can, after reading this article, they can say, "Hey, oh, I know now I have an accent," and they can later go on and find articles that, "Hey, how can I speak better?" while doing this, and eventually go to people who help them talk better and learn how to improve on their accent. Eventually, they're speaking without accent. That's a very good reason. But there's one more reason. This is now giving a reason to argue why they have accent. Now, you might not be bullied for having an accent, and I might not be bullied for having an accent, but we live in a big world. You never know. People get bullied for random reasons, for some very stupid reasons, and now they have a reason why they can prove why they have an accent, and now they also, trying to second part, they can improve on the accent. Even though accents are pretty cool and pretty neat, now people like them. Now a lot of people like being talked about and say, "Hey, why you have an accent?" Now people are chill about it. I don't know why. People just are. Now, let's go about me. How does it impact me? So, I'll be honest, there was no impact on me. I found this article pretty cool. I was really wasn't born. I wasn't when I was born. I didn't learn the language long enough for me to start really speaking there, so I was unable to learn those words first. So I learned English to my first language, earlier language, and from there no accent was caused because I didn't mispronounce them. Now I saw a slight accent, but that's not my fault. And I could go through all my early steps as saying, going to languages, learning better, how to speak better, all that stuff. But I'm fine how I speak. Now, the article itself, it was pretty neat. We learned how accents are made. And now, you might say, "Hey, why should I read this article?" Now, this article, every big goal you need to reach, there's baby steps, all different steps. Now, one of those earliest steps, this article is one. People read this article. From there, they can lead to other bigger steps, such as proving an accent, or learn how to speak with a better accent, or learn to speak with an accent like a whole different one, It'll be pretty neat. But no real importance. Now, I say, "Hey, is there any bias or accuracy on this article?" Well, let's find out. Luckily for you, there is none. My conductive researching proved there was none, and if there was any, had deeply, deeply hidden, like in a deep, deep dark web hidden. Also, the author do state that the research was conducted in absence of any commercial or financial relationships. Basically, just saying there was no bias on accuracy. But if there was any, the author would get big trouble. Wow, I accidentally skipped that slide, but whatever. Discussion questions. Now, the first one is try speaking common words but with the placement of your tongue and see how different it sounds. Now, this might not really be a question. Why don't you try this? See how it's like. And the article itself does give more examples of words you can try this on. You can read it. It's a very good article. So, by saying, for example, I say dog when I said earlier. Dog, slight difference of the placement of your tongue. You can see how different sounds are. Now, you heard what the article said about accents. You heard what I think about accents. Now, I want to know what you think. What do you think is another cause of accents? Now, I'd like to thank you for your time and all 9 minutes you spent listening to me.